You come home after the worst day of your life. You don't say anything. You don't have to. Your dog is already there, tail going, eyes on you, body pressed against your legs, before you've even closed the door. And somewhere in that moment, a question hits you. Does he actually know? Not just that you're home, but that you love him, that he matters to you, that this house is his because you chose him? Or is all of this just feeding time, habit, pattern recognition, dressed up as something deeper? That question has been sitting in the back of every pet owner's mind forever. And for most of history, science gave one answer. They don't know. They can't know. They're animals. But something shifted. Researchers started putting animals in brain scanners, measuring hormones, designing experiments that could actually reach inside the question. What they found changes everything. In 2014, neuroscientist Gregory Burns at Emory University did something that had never been done before. He trained dogs to lie still inside an fMRI scanner. No sedation, no restraint, completely voluntary. He presented them with 5 scents, their own. A familiar humans, a stranger's, a familiar dog's, a strange dog's. 4 of these scents meant absolutely nothing special to the brain. But the 5th one? It completely broke the scale. The familiar human scent lit up the caudate nucleus, the brain's reward center, the same region that fires in humans when we see someone we love. Not the familiar dog, not food, not their own scent. Their person. Their brain treated the smell of the human who loved them, the way your brain treats something that makes life worth living. Burns wasn't done. In 2016, he gave dogs a real choice. Food on one side, their owner's praise on the other. Most dogs preferred praise, or valued both equally. The dogs with the strongest brain response to their owner's voice went to their person 80 to 90% of the time. Over food, a dog, choosing a kind word over a meal. Not because they were trained to, because their brain genuinely valued it more. The bond isn't about the bowl. It never was.
Wait a minute!
Here's where the skeptic steps in. Maybe dogs just associate their owners with food. Years of routine, wiring them to feel good. That's not love. That's conditioning. Except in Burns' scent study, the familiar human wasn't even in the room. No food, no walk, just a scent on a cotton swab. The brain responded like something wonderful was about to happen. The dog wasn't reacting to what you do for them. They were reacting to you. In 2015, researcher Miho Nagasawa at Azabu University published a study in Science. She measured what happens when dogs and their owners make eye contact. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the one released between a mother and her newborn. When dogs and owners held a long mutual gaze, oxytocin rose in both of them. The longer the gaze, the bigger the rise. They ran the same test with wolves raised by humans, hand-reared from birth, fed and cared for by people their whole lives. The wolves didn't produce the loop, only dogs. Something happened during the thousands of years dogs spent evolving alongside us. They developed a biological mechanism for bonding with humans that mirrors the one we use to bond with each other. When your dog looks at you, their body releases the same chemical that tells them they are safe and home. It's easy to believe a dog loves you. They're loud about it. But what about the animals that refuse to show it? What about cats? In 2013, Atsuko Saito at the University of Tokyo tested 20 cats. She played recordings of strangers calling their name, then their owner, then a stranger again. The cats reacted to their owner's voice. Ears moved, heads turned, pupils shifted, but they didn't move toward the speaker. Didn't vocalize back. The media ran with it. Cats recognize their owners but don't care. Here's what they missed. Cats domesticated themselves. They showed up near human grain stores to hunt rodents. We never bred them to respond to us. We never needed them to come when called. A cat that doesn't run to you isn't ignoring you. It's being exactly what it evolved to be. But a 2021 study from Kyoto University found something the headlines never covered. Cats form a mental map of where their owner is at all times, based on sound alone, even when they can't see you. When researchers made it seem like the owner's voice came from an impossible location, cats looked alarmed. They had been tracking you in their mind the whole time, without being asked, without any reward. That's not indifference. That's the behavior of an animal that has quietly decided you matter. Horses are harder to explain away. In 2016, University of Sussex researchers showed 28 horses, photographs of happy and angry human faces. Angry faces made their heart rate climb. They turned to look with their left eye, the side that connects to the right brain hemisphere, the side that processes threats. They were reading the face, evaluating it, but the 2018 study went further. Researchers showed horses a photo of a person looking either angry or happy. Hours later, that same person walked in with a completely neutral expression. The horses remembered. They were more wary of the person they'd seen angry, more relaxed around the one who'd been smiling. They adjusted their behavior based on an emotional memory from hours before. Researcher Karen McComb put it directly. Horses have a memory for emotion. They don't just read how you feel right now, they carry a record of who you've been to them. An animal that tracks your emotional history isn't reacting to stimuli, it's building a relationship. And then there are elephants. In 2014, Joshua Plotnick and Franz de Waal watched 26 Asian elephants for nearly a year. Every time one became distressed, they recorded what happened. Every time. The other elephants came. They touched the distressed elephant's face with their trunks. The trunk has over 40,000 individual muscles. It is how elephants examine and connect with the world. Touching another elephant's face with it is not a casual gesture. They also made soft chirping sounds, not alarm calls. Just quiet sounds, directed at an animal in pain. De Waal called it consolation behavior. Before this, it had only been documented in great apes, dogs, and corvids. He said empathy is a general mammalian trait, not a human invention. Something that evolved because it works. A group that feels what its members feel is a group that holds together. So where does this leave us? Dogs have reward centers that treat your presence like the best thing that can happen to them. They choose your praise over food. Cats track where you are, always. Even when they pretend they couldn't care less. Horses remember your emotional history and treat you accordingly. Elephants walk toward pain instead of away from it. None of this is coincidence. But here's the question science still can't answer. Is there something it feels like to be your dog when you walk through that door? We can measure the caudate nucleus, detect the oxytocin, document the behavior. What we cannot do is get inside the experience. Franz de Waal argued the question was backwards. We should be shocked if animals didn't have inner lives. Consciousness evolved gradually, like legs, like eyes. We're all somewhere on the same line. In 2001, Robin Williams visited the Gorilla Foundation in California. He met Coco, a Western lowland gorilla who learned over 1,000 signs in American Sign Language, her own pet kitten, her own humor. Within minutes, she was playing with him, tickling him, laughing. She took his glasses and tried them on. Two strangers, one unforgettable afternoon. And 13 years later, in 2014, Robin Williams passed away. The news shattered millions of people around the world, but it also traveled to a quiet enclosure in California. When Coco's caretakers told her, she went quiet, stopped playing, sat alone for the rest of the day. The Gorilla Foundation described her as somber. An animal who had spent a single afternoon with someone years before became visibly different when she learned he was gone. Something registered. Something changed. Whether that's grief the way you or I would use the word, we can't say. But if it sits in silence like grief and darkens the room like grief, call it what you want, but she felt it. And Coco was not alone in that. You come home. The dog is already there. The cat holds your gaze, just a moment longer than necessary. The horse walks toward the fence when it sees you. You've been asking whether they know you love them. Maybe the better question is this. Why does the capacity to recognize care keep showing up across every species that lives alongside humans? Why do their brains light up for your scent? Why do their hormones rise when you hold their gaze? Why do they always know where you are? Science can measure all of that. What it cannot reach is the part that chose to stay. Whatever fires in that brain when it catches your smell. Whatever makes a gorilla go quiet for the rest of the day. It knows something. Maybe the word love is too small for it. But something is there, and it has been choosing you every single day without being asked.